Hi, it's Debbie Sanders from Bar None Prep. I'm here today to talk about Results Day. They're starting to trickle in across the country. I teach the UBE, so the test is the same across the country, but the results days are not. So this begins the swell of what people think is the most important day of their life. So I'm here to put that idea in perspective and maybe to ratchet it down a couple notches. I want to start with the idea that in some general way, most of the people, more than 99% of the people I teach, are retakers. So that is just sort of the nature of my demographic. People come to me seeking support in taking the test beyond sort of a commercial environment to have a human involved. So I've had a lot of humans in my rear view mirror. I just want to come here to talk to you about the idea that it is virtually assured that you will pass the test. I say virtually because some people get caught in an impediment that they can't overcome within themselves, which will lead me to the end of this message in a perfect way. If it's assured that you're going to pass the bar, and if you assume that that is a given, I want to start by saying that when you pass the bar, no experience of not passing the bar will matter to you anymore. It will evaporate. You will embody that success and become all the things that it was meant to be for you, and the time will be perfect. I am a spiritual person, so I believe that, but I also, do this work practically, and I have another reason for that message that is much bigger than everything happens for a reason. And by the way, as an expression of spiritual belief, I don't think that's a big enough way of saying what that really means, and we'll get to that. What I want to say is it is virtually assured you will pass. What will you do to yourself along the way? That's a different question. But I want to just put in perspective the idea that if you virtually are assured passage and the experience is really what matters, keep in mind that it is a test of minimal competence. So if you don't pass, I always tell people if the bar exam caught you up in the net, it probably should have. Not because you're not worthy or deserving, but because lawyering is the real goal. The bar exam is one of the steps along the way, just like law school, just like moot court in law school and your first experience of oral argument and your first memo, and for that matter, the LSAT, getting you into law school. They are part of the journey. When you get the license, which is one other part, you get to be a lawyer. So that's what the goal is. When you begin lawyering, you don't have a lot of legal knowledge. Refer back to the test of minimal competence. You are likely not an expert in the thing you're going to do. So you have a lot of groundwork in catching up there. And all you have to bring forward is internal wherewithal, meaning you believe in yourself, that you're able to come forward as an advocate for your client based on life experience, your best calculation in the moment of what the moment calls for, something else you went through that you can liken to that struggle, some legal research, of course, but it's not enough in those moments to come forward as someone's counsel in a courtroom. So mostly in the beginning, you're relying on self-belief. That tends to be heightened the most when you apply to law school. My job is always to bring people back to that person so that they can embody the full strength and belief in themselves they had when they applied to law school, which somehow, ironically, when they actually do know something about the law on the way out, tends to diminish right before the bar exam. At its height, it is the lowest. So what I want to say to you is you don't want to step into a courtroom until you're ready to be a lawyer, and you're not really legally ready. So that means you must be personally ready to be someone's counsel, to take their problems on for money. So if you don't pass, again, too small an idea to say this happens for a reason, that makes people angry and it feels trite. I'm saying you truly don't want to have that weight if you're not ready for it. And life will organize itself in whatever way this journey is intended for you. If you do it 3 times banging your head against the wall, and that has to be your journey until you have the experience of overcoming the thing in your way, which could be any number of things, avoidance, denial, insecurities, but all of them need to be reckoned with before you actually get the license. So if we can come back to the idea that the license is the goal, being someone's lawyer is the goal, this immediate win of passing the bar, it has a lot of like celebratory excitement behind it, but it's really important and serious and grave. And when you get the license, which you will understand why it had to organize the way that it did. Some of my students actually don't get a license having accepted a job that, the job was contingent on the license, and they learn later that they really belonged in some other law firm and not across the world in some, international environment. And they understand all of the, spiritual organization of that path. But I'm just saying to you, you don't need to suffer in this moment more than necessary. Take a minute to breathe in the disappointment. But know that you can be new in this experience. You can rewrite it to have it come out the way that you want. And you can walk into it embodying yourself in a way that is much more powerful than just eking through, which, by the way, the large percentage of people taking the bar the first time pass, but not by much. So they are like sort of going into court, on really shaky ground. So I'm grateful that my students, will have to go through a transformational journey to get to the other side of it, get the license, which is the immediate goal, become a lawyer and have so much more of themselves to possess when that happens. So I'm ending this video coming forward to you in a really raw, unfiltered way, which is the thing I promise, because that's who I am, and that's how you come to me. So I invite you into that space with your full self, even if it's crying and falling apart. That's kind of what I do best. I just want to remind you, this is assured. It's yours. Now you just have to do the work. And in that respect, the work also includes the work on yourself to be ready for this thing, which is a grand, very elevated position in life. So you want to give it what it deserves, and you want to be worthy of it. And it will then be worthy of you. So go forward on this day. If it's your result day, put it in its place, know who you are, start the journey anew without any of the baggage that you would bring into it from a former effort. And know that I'm at here, Bar None Prep, going to be showing up with these videos on the regular, talking to you about people and bar exam taking. I'll talk to you soon.